Okay, the next section is we will discuss about the big data flow. Yeah, so this is like actually this is still it's still like general flow. I will discuss more detail later in maybe in the third week. Yeah, but we need to know about it. Big data flow. The big data flow actually like this is the big picture how the data will be flowing from the beginning until we have we deliver to the people, we deliver to the user. Yeah, so it's very interesting to know, and that's very important. So uh, by understanding this flow, hopefully you now understand that big data is not like technology that only do next finish, but this is like a lot of process in every step. So the first process is actually we call the ingestion process. Yeah, so you can focus on this one. So in the ingestion section or the ingestion step, actually our focus in how we collect the data, not only just collect, but also collect in the proper way. It is like if you want to go to the doctors or to the hospital, you need to assess your healthiness. You need to take your blood, yeah, and then of course the nurse or the doctor cannot just take your blood directly, but he will do some screening first. He will do some examination first, and then he will do something with appropriate. Yeah, for of course this is needed for guarantee that your process on the taking the blood for examination is will giving the result the best result for you. So that will be same thing in the big data. We cannot just only collect the data, copy paste the data, fill in the storage and so on. But we need to handling the data collection with very carefully. So that's why ingestion is very important. In the ingestion things, we know the process that based on the bulk and then the event ingestion. The bulk, it's mean we create some process that do the collection, a lot of collection in the same time, and then we collect in one moment, and then we push the collection of data in one time. It's just like similar with batch actually. Yeah, but in event ingestion, it's different. Event ingestion is like we try to collect the data when the data have a new symptom or a new pattern. So when we have the data that different before and then we collect. If not, it's mean we assume that the data came is same with the previous one. So that will be the difference. So if we discuss about it, actually is there is any uh, advantage and disadvantage that we want to tackle from these two kind of process. From the bulk ingestion, actually this is needed for the data that came very huge in the very in the near real-time process. So it's very possible to handle all the data directly to our storage. So we need to handle in one place first. Yeah, let's say we buffer first, in the very small time, for example. So we do that one. In the event, actually, we want to collect the data in the effective way, in the very simple way. If we have information that data need to collect, yeah, we collect the data. If not, yeah, we not collect the data. Something like that. So that will be the bulk and event ingestion. Yeah. If we not can guarantee that process work well, it's mean our data will also have a problem. Yeah, sometimes the data will be lost, the data will not appropriate, the data will not complete, the data will not have high quality and so on. So that will be the problem. After we have the bulk ingestion, actually the data will be doing the data store, yeah, data store flow. So in here we like insert into the database, but in here we insert into data warehouse facilities. We place the data in the appropriate way, and then we follow the rule of data warehouse. If we have a data warehouse that not based on the SQL base or maybe file base, it's mean yeah we do the file base too. After that, we do the processing. The processing itself, I think you already have the knowledge that we cannot just only directly process the data. But for example, if we decide to use the machine learning approach, so we need to have a data preparation, data labeling, data test, data validation, and so on. It's also happen too if we choose the that, for example, using the deep neural network, for example, we do the artificial intelligence and so on. So it will be the same things. After we have the analytic way, we can do the visualization and discovery. So that will be in the flow. Yeah. So we need to follow the flow. So don't be like, okay, I collect the data and then directly go to the visualization. You will not get the insight of the data. You will have a disaster because the data will be not appropriate for you. So I think this is the very important part because many of the institution, for example, especially the user, the very awam user, I said this, they don't realize it, and then they think that if we want go to using the big data, it's just like insert the data and then the magic will be work. They doesn't know about the dirty work behind the big data. We need to prepare the data. We need to be label the data. The label data is also have the very huge problem because sometimes we doesn't have any appropriate data label and so on. For example, today I have worked with the Camdikbud, for example, to have artificial intelligence engine to help the assessment of the easy answer question. So when student answer the question with the long text, we need to analyze it's right or not, is comply with the requirement or not. Not only just the similarity of the text, but how the student answer the question. We also do the scoring things about it. So it's mean we cannot only depend on the small data for the label data, but we need to huge of data. Not only the challenge only that, but sometimes we have facing like the use of the word in many location. For example, in Jakarta, you very familiar with the word of lu and gue, but how if in the Sumatra, for example, how about the Papua, the Kalimantan, and so on? They have their own word. I can give you some illustration. Last time I have a very rush discussion. It's in the mathematics when we have a question, for example, 5 plus 5, what the answer. So it's very easy. You can answer 10, for example. But the student answer the question is very wide range of answer. For example, they will say about 10 consists of 1 and 0 letters, numbers, yeah. And then maybe they will say that 10 using the word, and they will say 10, they will say 0, 1, 0, and so on. So that will be the complexity. So that will be the challenge for our artificial intelligence engine, yeah, to identify that question. And then we can decide this is the right or not, yeah, comply or not. So that will be that challenge, yeah. So that's the illustration. So this is the landscape, yeah, this is the landscape. Some of these are the technology, the major technology in the big data. Yeah, for example, like in the application, the SAP, Excel, Tableau, Platforma, Revolution, Splunk, and so on. Yeah, and then we also have the big data system from the SAP HANA, Oracle, Teradata, and then the Oracle itself. We work with this also, and then we also have the Hortonworks, Cloudera, Kamabox, OS, and so on. It's also work on this engine, and of course the another tool that also deal with the big data. So a lot of data that is work for supporting the big data technology. So that will be very challenging for you to understand about it. So yeah, for this course, we not only discuss about how to use these tools, but also how to understand about how the tools work, how the flow, what the flow, and then how it's work for big data computational. So that will be the nice one. And then after you, hopefully after you learn from this course, hopefully you can see that the big data is not only just using the tools, but also how we develop our own environment for helping the organization or company to deliver the big data solution for them. Yeah. So that will be our recap for the big data technology. So, and the last thing is we have one things that in the big data architecture is very big concern. There is the big data security. So I have a lot of question about it. So how about the security aspect of big data when we discuss about this big data, especially when the company or organization want to deploy in the organization. So actually, the big data is the question is the big data secure? Yeah. So when we think about secure, of course, security in big data is different in the security in the common way. Yeah. So in the common way, for example, the security is about the data breach, about the data manipulation, maybe some of the interception, illegal action, and so on. But the most important thing, security in the big data is about the pattern of security itself. So it's just like when we put on the big data, of course the security is have a two kind of the two point of view. The first is the point of view of data itself. When we go into the big data, the security it's mean like when we have a data input, the data input will produce the exactly data output that we expected. Yeah, not have any manipulation and so on. For example, if I enter your mark as A, it means in the transcript will be consist of A. It cannot be another way. Yeah, so that will be the assumption of the data security. But in the technology, of course, we have facing the same issue in the ordinary technology. Yeah, like in the network or maybe in other things. Yeah. So in this case, like for example, data breach. Yeah, of course, we have possibility that people or some parties will be stored will be reach our data storage and then collect the data from themselves. So it's also have we have a issue on it. For example, last maybe 1 or 2 months ago, we hear about the data breach issue in Tokopedia, and then the data will be found in the deep web technology, and then they share the data in there, and then yeah, of course, it will become the issue for many sites. Yeah. And then we also have the issue on the KPU that the data from from the table that provided by KPU for checking the validity of the citizen is also found in the deep web technology and so on. And that will be our issue. So that's why to avoid that one, big data can be one of the alternative or option to enhance the security of the data. When we plug all the data in one single day in the single storage, it will be more easy to manage and then more easy to handle about the security actually. So that will be the advantage. I think I will discuss later about the security because yeah, that will be a very wide range of security. But before I forget, we now also go to discuss about in the lab in the research lab we discuss about the preserving security in the big data. So yeah, that's very interesting. A new term. So it will be very challenging to do that one. So it's mean like we try to preserve all the profile of the security of the data and keep it still secure when we do the big data processing. So that's will be the advanced way to do that one. Yeah. Okay. So that will be our discussion for big data architecture.